These are the things that make your trial an experience. None of this, as I mentioned, is workout related. It's got to be intentional. It's got to be an experience. It's got to really create emotion. There's got to be a lot of surprise and delight. It cannot just be workouts. That is 2015. That is long gone. You cannot sell people off of just workouts in today's world. It has to be far beyond that. People's expectations are way higher, and so we need to meet those expectations and exceed them.
This is the Reinforce Your Gym podcast with your host, Dustin Vogel. This show is about arming gym owners with the tools, strategies, and lessons they need to take their business to the next level. That way, they can make a greater impact in their community. Now, let's get to work and reinforce your gym.
All right, gym owners, welcome in. We are tackling the topic of how to close 75% of your trials, because here's the truth. It is possible and it is predictable to close 75%. And I hear a lot of gym owners say, oh, we already do. We close 75, 80, 90% of trials. But the truth is, I look at their numbers and their beliefs don't match the metrics, okay? They're being emotional. They're saying they're awesome, but when they look at the numbers, they're actually not. And so I hope that is not you. So I would encourage you to go look at the numbers and let that be the truth, right? That could tell you either you need a wake-up call, or you're not closing that, or you actually are awesome and you are speaking truth. And again, if that's you, awesome. But if you're not, which is most of the gyms that I talk to, today we're going to solve that once and for all right? So here is the truth. Trial members are expensive for you to get through the doors. You have to generate leads. You're probably paying someone to follow up with them. You get them through the door finally, and you sell them your trial program, and you convince them to do this, and then you got to sell them into a membership. And that is a lot of payroll. That's a lot of time. It's a lot of money. And I don't want you to be losing out on the opportunity to make these people into members so you can convert them into that relationship with you and get them the best result. That's the major win, why we want members. So let's talk about this, okay? Most of the gyms that I am looking at, their numbers, they show them to me, they're actually closing at 40%, okay? And there's a few reasons for that, which I'll tackle beyond the people who actually utilize the trial. There's other reasons that they're not converting, all right? So 75% is realistic. I know, I did that at my locations. I've helped many other gym owners to do it. And, at the end of the day, it's all about what type of experience you build. Because most gyms that I talk to, their idea of trials is workouts. Come in, get a trial workout, experience our workouts, you'll love it. But I got news for you guys. If you're doing the same exercises every other gym is doing, because we're all probably smart science-based trainers, we're doing a push, a pull, a hip hinge, a squat, the workout isn't going to be that much more different, right? And you can say my coaches are better, but guess what? They probably got good coaches too, and they got a clean facility and they got equipment. So like that is not going to be enough. We can't say the workout will sell them. We have to create an amazing experience, because that's what people will pay for. They want experiences. That's what is going to separate your trial from another trial. So I'm going to help you to build that. All right. So what does experience? That's an open-ended word, Dustin. Like, explain me what that is. Well, every good experience has a strong kickoff or beginning. And so that would be you and your first interaction with that client. In my opinion, all gyms should have a meeting before a workout. That is very high fear way of doing it. And a lot of times you got people who don't show up and don't start their trial, and they'll just sacrifice losing that money because there wasn't enough preparation, right? No good personal trainer would ever start training someone without an assessment. So we think of it very logically with one-on-one, but then in group, we start treating people like cattle. We just want to shove them in, and we don't care really what that experiences look like. Well, you kind of get that feedback loop when you see your trial conversions, and it's miserable, right? And it's because people are giving back to you what you give them, right? You treat them transactionally, they treat you transactionally. So I think the first part of making a great experience is having an amazing onboarding, all right? Give these people an amazing onboarding where you meet with them before, maybe it's before their first workout or even days before, help them with the tech, right? Get them into your apps, help them to understand and digest what's going on the in body. To me, sometimes it can be a little rushed if it's in conjunction with your sales appointment, because then now you got to talk to them and discover their problems and sell them, and then go into onboarding. And if they've already been there an hour, like this can get really lengthy and people can get impatient. So I'd rather it's before their first workout or it's a separate appointment, but you want to have an orientation. You can do a group style where you repeat it every Saturday morning, every Monday. Any new member needs to come to this orientation. It's mandatory. That's another thing I would use that word. And help them with the tech, help them to know what they should be eating, help them understand what's going on in the in body. This is all a lot of information beyond just your workout, right? That's why it needs to be a pre-step to starting the workout program. And so people will appreciate that. And it really just creates for a warm welcome, right? Then there's the first day experience. This should literally be an experience in itself that you train into your team. Like, how do we treat first timers here? And it should be the coach runs right up to them and introduces themselves. Don't wait for that person to come to you. And we shout them out at the end of the session, right? Make them feel good, congratulate them. Congrats, you did the first workout. And we should make it a point that the coach needs to shout them out a minimum of 3 times at their first session and tell them what they're doing awesome. Because guess what's going on in their head? They're thinking to themselves all the things they're doing wrong. I suck. I have to take more breaks. I'm lifting the least amount of weight. I'm the most out of shape person. There's all this negative talk. So you need to combat that with positive talk, right? So this is all part of the experience, guys. Again, you can hope that your coaches will do it. You can hope that your coaches will have these thoughts like you and I do. But chances are it's going to happen systematically if you build it to be a system and everybody gets the same experience, right? And there's no slip ups. So that's the first part of an experience, is an amazing onboarding and an amazing first day at the gym. You can even have a coach give them some sort of gift to start that relationship off with reciprocity. So like, hey, I know it's your first day. Awesome. What size shirt are you? Let's go get you a shirt off the rack. Boom, free shirt, make you feel good. Again, what's that cost you? 15, 20 bucks. That is an amazing way to start a relationship, right? So that is number one. Number two, now we want to talk about milestones and progress checks, okay? So if they're on a trial, we're not going to set any massive weight loss goal or anything like that. I think the better thing to do is to call out like a behavior, right? So you could say, hey, our milestone for you is to do 3 workouts a week for the length of your trial, whether it's 30 days, 6 weeks. Like, okay, we want you to do 12 workouts. That is the milestone. That's what we're chasing. And have a way for them to track that, whether you got a chart in the board where they can put a sticker after every workout, put a little X, a punch card, something that shows progress so that they're seeing that delta close. And it's almost like this, satisfying feedback loop of like, okay, I did 3 this week. Awesome. I did another 3. I'm halfway there. And so they can kind of chase that thing, right? That gap. So that is definitely a great way to do it. Some clients might set for themselves a weight loss goal. You can be that sounding board and tell them if it's realistic or not. But I like highlighting the behavior that will lead to the outcome and then creating milestones around that, right? So that's an easy lift that anybody can add into their trial experience. Now you have a personalized reason to reach out. Like, hey, I just want to say, good job. I saw you're at 6 workouts halfway. Keep it up, right? Now we have some things to get around as a unified front of things to celebrate, all right? All right, next, we're going to talk about high value touch points and over delivery. So this can be surprise bonuses. Like maybe they get an email drip campaign with educational content about nutrition, because I understand like nutrition can be hard to scale and to teach everybody. So one of the ways to do this is for the owner or a coach that loves nutrition to film content that really applies to everybody and drip out a nutrition series during their trial. Maybe they get 2 emails a week with really good high value content. That's a surprise and delight. I didn't know I was going to get this. A bonus gift. I mentioned the shirt earlier. Maybe you can give them a shaker cup. Maybe you can give them a sweat towel with your branding on it. Something that like, oh, this is included. That's cool. It's very common in boxing, but we don't do it outside of that world. Most boxing trials, they give you your gloves and wrap. Number one, it's kind of gross to have like community gloves. You don't want to use someone else's. But number 2, they just build it into their trial. It doesn't cost them a lot and they just want to give it to you. And this gets people tied into saying, oh, now this identity, I'm a boxer. I do boxing workouts. Well, if you're a small group training or personal training facility, like think about what you can give that would make them tied more to your brand. Shaker, sweat towel, t-shirt, something cool, right? Then you want to use micro closes. So these are small sentences that help them to start moving towards this new identity. So like, hey, how are you feeling this week? Right? I'm feeling better. Just saying that out loud draws me more to wanting to stay, right? What's changed so far? We're 2 weeks in. What have you seen change-wise? If it's nothing, okay, well, let's dive into it. What's going on with your nutrition? How many workouts did you do? How's your sleep? We can kind of get a little prescriptive, or, oh my God, what's changed? I can't tell you how many things have changed. My energy, my sleep, everything. It's all amazing. These are micro closes that you're like, I'm not asking for the membership sale, but I'm getting you to sell yourself by saying these things out loud and recognizing them, right? So that's that. And then, like other high value is like, I literally told my team, we sprint here for the client's benefit. And what does that mean? That means literally sprint. Like someone needs something, we will run to the other side of the gym as fast as we can to get it for you, right? And that way, where it's almost like absurd, like, what are you doing? Why are you running? But like, that's how we want them to feel. Like we do things above and beyond. We don't even just walk to go get you something. We sprint to get it. So you need a hair tie, ma'am? No worry. I'm running to the bathroom. We have a whole bowl of hair ties in there, right? Free for members. You need a glass of water? Let me go get you one. Like anything that you need, oh, you left some in your car? Give me your keys. I'll go get it. Again, sounds crazy, but these are things where people would literally laugh and take pictures and put on social media. And they're like, I love my gym. Is any other gym going to do that for you? Right? So guys, these are the things that make your trial an experience. None of this, as I mentioned, is workout related. I hope it's sinking in, right? Okay, continuing on. What about culture and getting them tied into belonging, into your tribe, right? So the trial should feel like I am becoming a part of a community. I'm not, again, just thinking about workouts. And a lot of people say their community is great, but they don't systemize getting someone into the community. They just hope that by chance they'll meet some cool people, have some great conversations, and get to experience it. Guys, this is another thing you got to systemize, all right? So introduce them to your core members. You know who those are. The best members. They live and breathe the core values. They've got an amazing transformation. They're super easy to talk to. You want them to be the client that they talk to, right? Then there might be a client who's always a grump or always, pessimistic. And what if they start working out next to them? You're like, oh, no. Like, let's not go over there. So that's for you to systematically pick who are those core members? Who are those people we introduce newbies to because they do such a great job of making them feel like part of the family, right? And then the other part is your coaches remembering their names. Like that is par for the course. I don't care how many members you got. They have to get good at remembering their clients by their first name because that makes them feel seen in a group, right? If a coach said to me, if I was in a session, hey guys, keep it up. You're doing a great job. I'm proud of all of you. I will not internalize that. But if they say, Dustin, man, you are crushing it today on the shoulder press or on the deadlifts. Keep it up, man. You're crushing it. I will take that compliment and I will internalize that and I will feel amazing. And I was like, man, they saw me, even if I just got one. But imagine if they did 2 or 3 for every client in their session, right? If they gave every client a first name compliment 3 times, that is when you get an experience to be next level. And that was something I got called out multiple times at my business was like, they're like, I can't believe your coaches remember everyone's names. This is crazy. I love it. I'm not going anywhere else. I've never been called out by my first name at a gym before. You think this stuff is trivial, but people remember it because it stands out into the very low bar of gyms. All right. Gym owners, I don't want you to have the reputation in town as the gym that doesn't call people back. All right. We know it's critical when someone's finally made a decision to get healthy and fit that we get to them as quickly as possible. This can be solved by plugging in our remote sales reps, okay? It's not AI, it's not a bot, it's a real human that's working on your leads, the new ones that come in from your ads and the old leads in your database. And they're there to qualify the leads, to ask them discovery questions and to make sure they're a good fit. And then their job is to move them forward in your sales process so that you get more members month over month. All right, if you want to learn about our remote sales reps, go ahead and go to gymreinforcements.com, book a call, and we'll tell you more about it. See you then. Moving on. In terms of, like now we're going to get into like closing these trials, right? So like we've given them an amazing experience. Now we got to convert them into membership. Well, there's little subtle things you can say to someone on a trial, right? And this helps with you starting to plant the seeds. So things like, I'm so excited to help you reach your long-term goals. Or imagine how things are going to change if you keep working out here and staying with us, right? I want to be honest, when things get tough, because they do for everybody, it's nice to have a community and the coaches that got your back, right? And that's always my response when someone's like, what am I going to do when I got to go to a wedding or I'm going to travel or I'm at a birthday party? I'm like, great. I'm glad that you're asking those questions. That's why you need to keep training with us, because we are going to do life with you. You don't want to learn how to work out and then just go do life on your own. That's doing life on hard mode. Let our coaching and community go alongside you with life. And as these things come up, bring it up to us and we will tell you, we'll give you our best advice so that you can handle that situation. That's the better way to do it, right? With support behind you. Some phrases you can drop during their experience. And so, I mean, you can automate it with text. You can just teach your team to say these types of things, but always future forecasting so that they're thinking too of staying long term, right? And then the other thing is be on the lookout for upsell opportunities. And I say that like in a way where I don't want people to think it's all about the money, but like when people have different problems, they're willing to pay to solve those problems, right? You can wash your own car or you can drive through a car wash, and they're two different fees, right? Two different prices. You're gonna save a lot of money if you wash your own car. But for people who are lazy, they just rather drive through, like me, like we're gonna go drive through a car wash. So when you got problems when it comes to your fitness, like have upsell opportunities. Like a couple of owners that I talked to, Genius Ideas, they had an accountability group and they charge just $10 a month. So this is a micro fee, but what it is they just gave everyone access to their group chat. They put everyone in a WhatsApp and they just said, this is your coaching hotline and I'm always available for you if you got questions. And it was an extra $10 a month. Well, they had 100 members in there, okay? All profit. It was just, they're going to do it anyway. They're going to text with a client when they need help. Might as well charge a little extra fee for it and put everyone in a group chat. And what tend to happen is over time, the members even started being the coach of each other, and they didn't, the owner and the coaches didn't even need to chime in. So like awesome upsell, but someone says, I need more accountability. I want you to check in with me weekly, or I need you to hold me accountable 3 workouts a week. Charge for that. Okay. Second, nutrition coaching. If someone needs that, obviously that's going to be a little bit more customized. There should be a different price tag to nutrition coaching from workouts, because it's 2 different special skill sets and knowledges and certifications. And so you're going to need to have that separated. I started by doing it the messy way, which is giving them nutrition included with their workouts. And I meant nutrition coaching, not like nutrition emails like I mentioned earlier. That's fine. But when someone needs custom support, I would just give it. And you know what? No one would take it serious because they got to include it. It was looked at as free, or, that's my fault. I said it's free with your membership. But when I charged, oh my God, the compliance went through the roof. The results went through the roof. And it's because I'm constantly reminded when people pay, they pay attention. It's one of the reasons I even stopped, like people would DM me questions about, their business, and I would give them help. And then I'd be frustrated because it'd be the same person asking me the same question for years and years. So I learned to stop and say, hey, if you need my help, nutrition coaching, business coaching is going to be a fee. Here's the fee. And some people took it and some people said no. And that's kind of how I, guarded my time. So that's that. All right, moving onward. KPI metrics and KPIs to watch around this, right? So number one, I hinted at it earlier. It's not always the trial experience why people don't convert. It's another metric, which I call non-starters. All right. A non-starter is someone who bought a trial and never even showed up. Obviously, you can't convert that person, and that's going to hurt your conversions when you look at your total trials and your total memberships. Well, what if 20% of them never even came in? This is a problem. We need to get those non-starter numbers down to like 0. We need to have 0 non-starters. And you can work with people, if you want to have their start date restart the next week. A lot of times it's because they didn't get an onboarding. And so it's like, reach out to them, book their onboarding, get them to the gym in a non-intensive, in saying the wrong word, non-intensive, non-intimidating way, so that they can come in and see the space and get like a plan and feel good about it. But the biggest thing they need is forgiveness, because I can tell you, they are beating themselves up for not coming in. And you're not helping by messaging them and saying, where were you? You didn't get in here. Get your butt in here. So that's number one that hurts trial conversions, is just a straight up non-starter, right? And that's something to look at when it comes to your price point. You'll have more non-starters, the cheaper your trial is. I was working with a gym that had a $10 trial and they had an outrageous amount of non-starters because that's a amount of money that's easy to just forget about. So inch up your pricing and you'll watch your non-starters numbers go down. All right, next, trial attendance. How many workouts are they attending per week? Again, we want to hold the line at a minimum of 3 a week for them to get results and to start to get, weaved into the community. Track your numbers, track how many workouts they're coming to, at your team meeting, review all your trial people and how many workouts they did the last week. And if it's under 3, that's where you need to be a coach and message them and set that goal and get them back on track. All right. Next is engagement rate. Not really an easy way for me to track this, but it's more intuitive, but like who's responding when we text them and who isn't. That's like a little bit of a red flag. It's like, okay, I've texted this person 2-3 times, no reply. Red flag. They're not going to convert, right? They're not as bought in. Next is progression towards the milestone. So this, I guess, is kind of redundant. It ties to your attendance, but it's just whatever milestone you set. I know I use that example of 3 workouts a week. Well, how's that progress going? That's something to look at. Are they on track to hit that progress goal? Then your closing percentage, right? So we want 75% closing is the target. Now, I've learned to use 2 different words, right? There's quota and there's goal or target. Quota is the minimum to remain employed or to remain in that role. Meaning if you fall below this is the red line. I cannot keep you in this role. Goal is the push goal, the target, what I'd like you to be at, what I want to push towards, right? So for me, a gym like quota is 50%. If you're under 50%, ring the alarm, sound the red alert, something needs to change, a new person needs to be in place. This is not good. It's very, very below the mark. And so 50% is quota, 75% for you guys is goal, right? So like, I just want to give you that range. You might fall in the middle, that's fine. Keep climbing your way up. But if you are 50% or below, you are not hitting quota. We got to make a major change. And so again, if you need help with that, DM me and I'm happy to help. All right. Now, final KPI to track around the trial, reasons why people don't convert. And so are you having exit interviews or asking them why they chose not to convert? Ideally, you ask them this in person so you can ask follow-up questions, and you want to ask it in their final week. If you know for sure they are not continuing and this is their last 1, 2, 3 workouts, pull them aside after one and say, hey, can I ask you a few questions? And then go into it, right? And just say, hey, I'm not trying to pressure you to continue. I just want feedback. What could we do better? Why did you decide not to continue? Can you be as honest as possible? Can you give me as many details as possible? This is extremely valuable feedback. All right. So tracking non-starters, attendance for trials, and then finally your closing rate. Those are the big 3. Like I said, the engagement and responding to texts, not really a measurable, just kind of a feeling. All right. And then the exit interviews, you can do that too. All right. So how can we push people to close 75%? And I say push gently. I don't mean like pressure them. I just mean put things in our favor. Okay. Number 1, I'm a big fan of what's called the auto enroll membership, which means at the point of sale, you tell them that this trial is built into their membership. For whatever reason, we got into this space where we think trial is separate from membership, but I'm trying to reframe people's minds that the trial is in the membership. Okay. Now let me explain an example. I work with an Anytime Fitness owner, and one of their best performing offers is first month for $1. You cannot do the $1 month and then leave. It's upon signing a 12-month agreement, meaning month 1 is $1, and then the month 2 through 11 is the normal $49 rate. So only by signing this 12-month agreement do you get the $1 offer. You can set up your trial to be the same way. Hey, I'm giving you this 30 days for $97. Then you're going to convert into $150 after. It's all set up. It's an auto enroll. You're automatically enrolled. Now, the only way, again, if you don't want to like deal with refunds and all that, you can tell people you have the right to cancel anytime in the first month. Obviously, when you're getting into more mid and high ticket, you want to give somebody a back out option or a buyout clause. Again, it's a little different than Anytime because I know you're still going into a low ticket from a low ticket. So it's not going to be end of the world type of money. Now, that's option 1. That's my favorite. That's, to me, the best way to just close somebody once is at the point of sale with the trial. I am also telling them about how it's going to subscribe into membership. One and done. There is no second meeting. All right. Now, for those that like to do the second meeting approach, where you sell them a trial and then later on you sell them into membership, I'm a big fan of what I call the 50-50 closing offer. So what that means is it gives you a little bit of give and pull to getting that membership decision. So what I say to them is like, hey, if you sign up for membership by 50% of your trial being completed, I'll give you 50% off your first month, right? So if you're on a 4-week trial, give me the decision by Friday of week 2, and I will knock first up month to half price. But if you wait to week 3, week 4, it's full price, right? So like that's the 50-50 concept, is give me a decision by the halfway point of your trial and I will mark your first month half off, okay? Now that gives you reason to give them urgency to make a decision earlier in the trial, because most people wait till the end. By then the sizzle has worn off the steak and they're not as excited to sign up, right? The next concept you can use is a guarantee. I mentioned it earlier, like, hey, if you're not happy in that first month, you can call it my love it or leave it guarantee. If you don't love it during your first month, I will let you exit the auto enroll and not continue on. It could also be a results guarantee or a happiness guarantee. If you're not happy for whatever reason in the first 60 days, 90 days, we will not only cancel your membership, we'll refund you, right? Money back guarantees. These are all ways that you can remove risk and make people feel comfortable to say yes. The amount of people that actually remember it and utilize it, I can tell you, is almost none. I think I've done 2 refunds off of a trial offer in over 12 years of gym ownership, okay? Now, the other way to get this 75% conversion to happen is to get referrals, which I know sounds crazy, that you're asking this person to buy a trial and then you're asking them to get a membership, and then now you're also asking for a referral. But there's benefits here. The big one being the more people that they have in their life in that gym, it deepens their ties and their bonds to that gym. Now it's a different experience when I get to enjoy it with my sibling or my friend or my spouse. Like, now this is like a community that I'm bringing to the community, like my peeps, right? So now there's even more ties to the gym and reason to stay. So ask them for this referral at the point of sale. And then I also like to ask it at the midpoint of the trial as well. So a couple of tips there. And then final one, as I mentioned earlier, is if they don't continue, make sure that you schedule a 30-day check-in. Yes, we want to do the exit interview on their final week, but at the end of that, we want to say, can I check in with you in 30 days, just see how things are going? And I can't tell you, it's probably about 20%. The last time I looked at our numbers, that when somebody left and we did that 30-day check-in, we actually brought them back to membership. And it's because they probably thought very optimistically they'll be fine, they'll be able to do just fine on their own. Then they got to feel what it's like, and they're like, man, I got no support, I got no coach helping me out, I've skipped the gym way more than I've gone. Basically, I suck, I should have stayed, regret, but here's the backdoor offer. Come back in, and again, you could knock off something if you want, like 20% off your first month, or give them a free week, and then their membership begins, or again, you don't have to discount, but that's that, all right? So guys, as we wrap up here, to make 75% of people to convert, it's got to be intentional. It's got to be an experience. It's got to really create emotion. There's got to be a lot of surprise and delight. It cannot just be workouts. That is 2015. That is long gone. You cannot sell people off of just workouts in today's world. It has to be far beyond that. People's expectations are way higher. And so we need to meet those expectations and exceed them. All right. Create the orientations, create the milestones, over deliver, make them feel belong, seed continuing with you all throughout the journey. And then finally watch those metrics like a hawk. And I guarantee you'll see that 75% be the norm on your KPIs month after month. If you guys need any help, send me a DM. Would love to help you. I love diving into sales processes, looking at numbers and creating an action plan. Like I said, send me a DM. If not, you'd be very kind to give me a 5-star review so that I am filled with lots of good feelings and continue to make these podcasts for you. All right, guys, see you next time. Hey, gym owners, let's face it. You probably don't love digital marketing. You probably don't want to go into Facebook and load the ad up and think of ad copy and creatives and optimize it daily. Well, hand that over to me and my team, because we're geeks about marketing and we want to flood your gym with new members so you can change their life. Let us do what we do best. All right, go to gymreinforcements.com, book a call. Don't bring the credit card. It's not a hard pitch. It's just a conversation to see if we're a good fit. Talk soon.